Hello internet. Wow, I'm in real life. I'm not a talking fairy PNG. Whoa. I just wanted to make literally just a small video because I cannot be bothered to just put in the same PNG on CapCut over and over and over and over again, because that's not fun. And I like art, but I don't like art that much. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the internet because people nowadays, I'm sure they always have been, but nowadays people are noticing it more, that people are very apathetic nowadays. People aren't listening to any other side, they're just sort of spouting out the same stuff over and over and over again. It's just, they're not listening to anyone's opinions at all. Personally, I'm a very hopeful person. I think that everyone has a reason why they're being mean. Kim Dawson, like upbringing, we've noticed now a lot of men are being brought up in very harsh environments. Like, you need to be strong, just sort of like, just man up, you know. And that's also partly why, it's mostly why men's mental health is crumbling right now. It can also just be their personality. They can just be like that. Which I don't believe that much in, but it's certainly still a factor to think about. But my main point, it's the reason we're here, it's the reason we're talking, it's the reason I'm talking at you. Social media. It's that damn phone. People have been cruel since recording history has been a thing. Kings and priests used to burn women at the stake because they thought they were susceptible to the devil, they thought they were witches, and they thought there's literally like pictures like that people have made in the olden days of women lining up to kiss the devil's ass because they thought that's just what he did, when actually the devil was taken by I think he was like a Hungarian demon that like transformed into different things. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if the old Christians took that as well. But yeah, it kind of really goes back to our ancestors. We are splits of bonobos and chimpanzees. We are very close relatives with them, but both of those apes have very distinct features that separate them. First of all, physically bonobos are smaller, you know, they're thinner, but they also are very peaceful and frankly normal. IMO, in my opinion, quite normal. From a human standpoint, chimpanzees thrive on war. They're always tearing each other apart. If you step 1 foot within a mile of a chimpanzee, your face is gonna get torn off. You're gonna die. You're gonna die immediately. But why recently? Why recently? I generally feel as if social media has completely ruined people's sense of empathy and humanity, like, overall. I think that some people have just taken this opportunity to be like a keyboard warrior and run with it. Some people do not go outside. That is the issue. They don't go outside. Like, I've seen people who've watched TikTok all day. Like, I knew someone who, as soon as they got up in the morning, TikTok, straight in their face. And I'd be like, don't you want to, like, have a slow start to your day? No. Immediate dopamine hits. As soon as some people wake up, whenever some people have free time, or at the dinner table talking to friends, I could go into this. This is a whole different issue, but people are always scrolling. If you look around you right now, or like if you go outside and you go for a walk, count how many people you see on their phones. And I read this in a book. I might talk about it in a later video. I'm already getting ideas, but literally just count and you'll see. But going on Twitter is a perfect example of just people being unnecessarily rude. There is no face-to-face communication. You don't know who you're hurling insults at. So, like, why care? If social media was real life, it would be so insane. Hey, you. What? You heard me, little wokey. You. I was literally just trying to read. Well, you should have read a bit less snowflakey, shouldn't you? Yep. Oh yeah. Okay? Like, why care if you're objectifying a picture of a poor woman by getting Grok to put a bag over her head on a public platform? Like, people will make so many excuses to just be horrible. I've seen that exact situation happen on Twitter, X, but I refuse to call it X. I just think it sounds so stupid. Twitter actually makes sense, because you Twitter. It's birds chirping back and forth. X. But yeah, I saw that, like, just checking Twitter, like, because I check it every, like, month, just to see what's going on for science. And, like, I regret it every single time. For that situation, I saw some people just say it was a joke. I saw, like, this woman, like, you'd think, you'd be on the same side as this woman. This woman being as in, like, the woman getting the bag over her head. And this woman being the one I'm talking about right now. But you'd think she'd be on her side. But no, she was just fully like, well, this is just how some people, joke. Yeah, it's banter. This is just how some people, grow as people. This is how boys joke. No, 'cause, well, yeah, banter is a thing, but these people don't know this woman personally. We've had presentations like this in high school and primary school even. It's not just bants. There is a fine line, a very thin line between harassment and banter. Banter is like, you go to your friend who you know personally, who you know very well. You're like, oh, you're stupid, oh, your haircut sucks. That's banter because it's funny and you can tell they're joking because you're friends. Unless they're actually being mean and they're not your friend. Harassment is just not that, it's bullying. It's like actual just being mean. I don't know if people understand that when you say something that might make you think, would that make them mad at me? Would that make them upset? Maybe they'd think, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. But they don't. They just keep going for some reason. And to that, like, to my point, a lot of people shockingly would just say, like, well, you should just stop being so sensitive. Well, I think you should go outside. Yay! Like, if I go up to you and I say the only part of you I would is your lower half. Because your head is so ugly that I'd put a bag over it and humiliate you. What would you even say to that? Like, face to face, what would you even say to that? How would you feel even? Despite what some people say, empathy is a thing that you genuinely need to survive. That's how we've gotten so far, sharing and trading and coming together as a community to build huts and houses and buildings and skyscrapers. That's how we have come so far as a society, because we are filled with empathy. We're empathetic. Altruism is literally a behaviour seen in wild animals. That means that animal 1 would do something for animal 2 at the expense of animal 1. That's empathy. talking this much while wearing a binder is so difficult, and I've got to be loud because I don't have a microphone yet. Prebiotic soda as a treat. Empathy builds relationships, trust. We have someone to go to when we're struggling. But people are starting to hold like a screen over their eyes when talking to someone, and they just don't see them as another person. Nobody can stop you from being horrible to someone else online because it's the internet, and that's why some people go so power hungry. This is so good. It's raspberry and pomegranate. I love these drinks. People have just like lost connection with what's going on around them, like all the time. You have a life of your own, and someone online wanting their friends, not you, to call them Zizim is not a personal attack on you whatsoever. It's text on a screen, and it's not hurting anyone. If it's not hurting anyone, people have the right to do whatever they want because it's their life. You have absolutely no right to criticize them by it. If there's a 14-year-old with a fox mask, like jumping over logs on 4 legs, walking on all 4s, having fun, there's someone enjoying a book, someone dancing in public, someone's attracted to a gender, someone is a gender. You will see this anytime because people have lives. And just because you don't have one doesn't mean you have to stomp on theirs. That sounds mean, I don't like to be mean, but unfortunately some people have gotten to that point where they just don't have a life, they don't want to have a life. They just hang around in their houses on camera. For what? For what? And it's not just the ones that you'd expect. Like the keyboard warriors online who attack you for like any tiny thing that you do. Like the people that you usually correlate with the cancellation thing. ED Twitter. That's a bad place. I don't like going there. I hope I never go there. Most K-pop stans. Sorry kings, sorry queens. Like, children who are 12 to like 14 who think they're like 16 to 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's not good. You shouldn't even be on the internet. I was on the internet at like 11, not even before that, like 9, and that had detrimental effects to my mental health. And like 12-year-olds should not be on the internet. That's partly what's making this problem. Please don't be on the internet if you're like under 15. Please. Just chronically online people. And they will all come for you, and that is because they have one thing in common. They have spent far too long on their damn phones. I'm not saying everyone who spends more than 2 hours a day on TikTok is evil. I'm just saying that some people are troubled. Especially with that like strange addiction men have with objectifying women. And by that, I am not saying all men. I'm saying a chunk of men who actively believe in misogynistic viewpoints, or subconsciously being misogynistic, or just plain harassing women online or in real life. It's not all men, but it's such a big issue that it's making a lot of people use the general term men. Mini ran over. Adding on to that, it's not just like those types of people online that you'd expect to be rude, because there are whole people online. There's like whole online discourses over video game characters, like, don't ship those, deny this, deny that. Do not get me wrong, like, I have a DNI in my bio, DNI and AI, DNI, NFTs. What's an AFT? Like, some of them actually make sense because it's like DNI if you're a pro shipper. Because nobody wants to interact with a. It's just some people spend way too much time on online platforms. And I get that. Some people use social media as a way to escape their life because they might be in an unfortunate situation at home, they might be getting bullied, they might feel really sick or like really stuck. Some younger people online as well are literally being raised on their iPads. So it's no wonder that there are kids online who get so obsessed with things like Dandy's World, and like characters like that being like good or bad. He said like something mean to this guy. It's toxic to ship them together, and like I don't blame them because they're literally just children. Yeah, social media can be good, but most of the time it's not teaching these kids like important things. It's ruining their compassion, it's ruining their communication, it's ruining their cognitive function. And actually, that's just what the internet's doing for adults too. Some grown adults are going online and replying to young people's posts with genuine cruelty, no consideration for how that might affect them or why they might act like the way they do, and they won't care. And that's a huge issue today. I am not here to offer like a solution or make like a big amazing like statement. I just want to identify this problem and rant about it because it really makes me mad. And I don't really get mad, but it makes me mad. And like, to the people on the internet who know that they're the ones that are cruel, I want you to know help is available. If you're struggling with your self-esteem or if your destructive tendencies to lash out at people on the internet is hurting yourself and others, because it is hurting yourself and others, by the way, people's reluctance to learn about any opinions other than their own and try to understand why people think the way they do is like why society is really crumbling right now. Even if you're like more left-wing leaning, it's important to see why the other side thinks like that, and that way you know how to like speak out, you know what their weak points are in like a weird way of speaking. So you know what you're talking about when you have a debate. You know why they're acting so strongly about something that just seems so insane and so lacking in the basics of morals. But we have to have more respect for each other. And that's genuinely such a basic primary school thing we have to learn. But some people genuinely need to know to learn to understand basic empathy. And that's so odd. Like, go outside, have a picnic, compliment someone on the internet, compliment someone on the street, hug your friends, make some friends, just be a human being. The more you observe and the less you tell people how much their existence make you want to do horrible things to them, the more likely you'll start to have a life. But obviously that depends on if the person you're yelling at is actually hurting someone. Because if you're just mad because a man with a beard and chest hair, but also a vulva, wants to use the male bathrooms to avoid scaring women, then honestly, I don't even know what to tell you. Because you can't really do anything about it. Because obviously you don't understand how being transgender works. But that's a topic for another video. It's getting dark. I'm drinking soda at like 8, which is something I don't do. I'm just so healthy. I also started posting on Substack personal essays, and I do art on Blue Sky and Tumblr. Okay, bye!